guys, welcome to another episode of Minutes with M&M. I'm Mena, this is Miss Ann, and we're really excited to have you here. So this week we're going to be talking about, yes, you guessed it, Grey's Anatomy. Woo! So obviously this is our favorite show. We talk about it all the time. We have strong opinions on lots of things. And this week we're going to be talking about season 19 that just finished in the gap between season 19 and season 20, which is coming out in 2024 due to the writer's strike. So we have a long wait ahead of us. So maybe we'll have another Grey's video before season 20 even starts. Who knows? Look out for that. So season 19 was like a really big season in terms of lots and lots of changes. So we have a new intern class, and they are the first time ever that we've had interns that were brought into the show as regulars and not just like as recurring or guests. And also the drum roll please, big thing. Thank you. Meredith Grey is no longer a main character. So Ellen Pompeo has stepped back and now she's more recurring and guest. She's still doing the voiceovers. She's still an executive producer, but we're not going to be seeing Meredith in every single episode. And that's been happening this season. So with Ellen stepping back, that means that the only two remaining OG characters are Bailey and Richard, who've been here since season 1. The fact that Richard is still here is ridiculous. He has been saying he wants to retire since season 1. When will that time come, Richard? Leave!
Leave! We are begging you. Like, we've seen enough. Like, I don't even think he's adding anything,
honestly,
to the show. Because, like, this season he was just walking around being annoying. And, like, all he does is bully people. And every 5 minutes, like, someone's, like, saying how he was a great mentor and a great teacher. And I'm like, all you do is to bully people and you abuse, like, your power. Like, you make them feel bad. And then you force them to do things that they don't really want to do because Richard must be smart. So
I'm screaming.
He must see something that, you know, my wants don't matter. Like Richard.
I'm dead. As you can tell, we're not Richard fans. But before we dive into him, let's talk about the biggest thing, which is Meredith taking a step back. How do you feel about that?
I feel like it's time. I feel like, you know, the cast has changed so much over the years, and like she really stuck it through. I mean, not for free though. They were paying her money.
Girl.
But it got to a point where I was just like, most of our friends are even going like she got.
I mean, you know, like it's one of those things when you watch TV, right? Like people make their friends and then that's their whole world. Like in real life, your friends come and go, and it's not like, you know, your doctors change jobs and Christina's not dead. You can text her, but I agree though, it is impressive that she stayed this long. Mm-hmm. Like even when Jackson left and she said, "I'm the last one left," I was just like, oh, my poor baby. But she's still involved, you know, she's still an executive producer, she's still doing voiceover, she's still present. So I don't feel like we're going to feel like Meredith is gone, especially because, no shade, Ellen, you're great and all. For the past few years, there have been seasons that she's just been checked out. Like season 13, it was like, are you even here? So I'm excited to see how the show pivots. Like,
let's talk about some of the OG characters and their storylines this season. Let's talk about Bailey. How do you feel about her storyline this season?
I cried when she won a Harper Avery because you deserve. I feel like I've been fighting for Bailey so hard over the last 10 years. I feel like a lot of fans, and it's a little bit racismal, but it's fine, have decided that they hate her because she doesn't behave in a very specific way, even though she's so much better behaved than literally all the other characters. Mm-hmm. And it's easy to look down on her because everybody walks down the halls being like, the Meredith Grey, you know, like, and nobody's saying the Miranda Bailey. So her winning, I was so, I can't even describe it.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed her storyline this season. I thought she was tackling a really important subject in terms of abortion. And I loved her friendship with Addison because they were friends originally when Addison was on the show. And that stalker episode where the patient comes in and, Lord, I can't, people are crazy in these streets. I enjoyed Bailey this season.
I just, 10 over 10. I loved it. Because like, I think that she had been ignored for a while, like in terms of just the kind of storylines that she got. And I'm glad that they gave her something very, very important. And it didn't feel like, oh, why is Bailey caring about this all of a sudden? And they brought Addison into it. And it's like, just took me back to the time. Remember like when Addison got poison ivy and like Bailey was there and it's like, no, call Bailey and Bailey alone. And it's like, they've always had this friendship and like, you know, the actress was like, let me come back. And it's fine. And it was so important to just see how hospitals are like dealing with things like this, because like that was one of my favorite things about anatomy. And I think I spoke about it in one of our previous videos, and how like the way it was written in the past few seasons, I felt a bit more like lecture-y than a I'm just going to show you things. And I think that this went back to that for me, and I liked it.
Love that for Bailey, and I'm glad to see that she's happy that she's no longer chief. I hate how Bailey was written as chief, not her character, but the circumstances around it. I feel like she was consistently punished for things that weren't her fault, or like held to a higher standard to other chiefs. So it sucks that she didn't get to necessarily enjoy her time as chief. But although she didn't have the perfect tenure as chief, I do like that she is having a good time and she's still crushing it. And her and Ben are happy. Her and her kids, I love it. It's great.
I'm sorry, when she snatched that drink out of Richard's hands, oh, baby kills me.
I love her. Okay, let's talk about Richard a little bit because we talked about it right at the beginning. We don't like Richard. I'm over him. This isn't because I hate him. I said the same thing about Amelia last season. I hope that Richard drinks and relapses. Not because I hate him, but I want entertaining storylines. I really wanted Amelia to relapse. And I've said this before. Amelia High is such fun television.
Okay.
But she didn't relapse.
You complain a lot about Amelia and a lot of the things that she does. And it's because of her struggles with addiction and all of that stuff. And then it's like, you keep wanting it to happen so that you can keep complaining.
No. But see, the Amelia I don't like is sober Amelia. I don't like what Amelia does while she's sober.
Really?
Because she's just annoying. Like when she was being a horrible wife to Owen, you're not on drugs, you're just behaving like this. Or even this, when she's high, I don't hold her behavior against her because I'm like, okay, you're high and it's entertaining. So even when she was being bitchy this season, I was like, you're being bitchy, but at least I'm even enjoying you're being mean to Winston. Like, it's fun for me because when she's sober and acting annoyingly, I'm just like, ugh, this is just you thinking the whole world is about you when it's not. And I'm just like, why?
Yeah.
Why? But it's fine. If Richard drinks and relapses, I think it'll be a fun storyline. Catherine can be involved. Amelia can be involved. Maybe when Meredith comes to visit,
Catherine is sick.
Honestly, Catherine deserves better, but it's fine.
Let her not have this to deal with. No, I'm actually serious.
No, you're right. I don't think he'll drink though. I think the writers have gone to a place with our characters that deal with addiction where it's like, we don't feel the need for you to fall off the wagon for your story to progress. And I get that in terms of representation, and that's actually good. People need to see that you can stay, or that if you relapse, it's not the end of the world.
Well, unfortunately, Richard's story did not progress, so maybe he does need to drink. I don't see the progression except screaming at people to get on the plane.
Honestly, oh my God, I don't. You know what? I don't actually want to talk about Richard. It's upsetting to me. Maggie also left the show this season. I am very sad because I love Maggie, and I have, again, similar to Bailey, I've been in the trenches fighting for my babe for years because there's so much hate towards Maggie that makes no sense. I love her so much. I'm glad that Kelly wanted to leave. I hope that whatever she works on is something that she enjoys. I think she was a phenomenal addition to the story. I love her and Winston. I hated their storyline this season. I was on Maggie's side the entire time. I thought Winston was being a little bitch and complaining about nothing. And I'm glad that at the end, it seems like they're kind of at a place where they want to be in a long distance marriage. And I'm just like, why couldn't you guys have done that from the beginning? What was the point of all the fighting?
Now.
It was just so annoying.
I think when Ndugu and Maggie met, it was very, very lovey-dovey, and they were that way mostly even up until marriage. They had like little disagreements, but they've never had a big one. And I think maybe when the writers were discussing what would be their story this season, it was like, let them have a big thing. But it ended up just being really, really annoying to watch because I'm like, what are you people even now fighting about? Like, please, because I'm fine with them having disagreements if it feels like it's something that's worth it. So like, we'll talk about Teddy and Owen in a moment, but at least their fights even made more, like it was still like, this is going on for so long, but at least the crux of the fight made sense. The whole thing with Maggie and Winston was so freaking annoying because it's like, Winston, you're wrong. Like, basically you're saying you can't work under your wife, even though you said, hey, I'm going to move here to work under you, and I'm sorry, you're the bad guy in this. So at the end of the season, when he's like, yeah, I want to be considered for chief of cardio, I'm great. I'm like, oh, but 2 months ago you were yelling at Maggie about, oh, you want to change your specialty. Okay, wait. In terms of I can't work under my wife, I think that was not exactly what he was saying. It was like, hey, I know that this was our dynamic. This is how I knew you. You were always my mentor, and now we're husband and wife, but you haven't really changed.
I hate the fight so much because at the end of the day, they were like, okay, let's do long distance marriage. Like, I feel like what they should have done is had a really, really good marriage up until Maggie gets the offer, and then they have a discussion about what they want to do about that. And they're like, so maybe they can disagree, problems. And maybe it's tense, and then at the end decide to be together instead of the weird fight that they had, which seems to be solved only because Maggie no longer works with Winston. So that's the solution. But like, am I supposed to be like, win here? But it's fine. They were nominated for Harper Avery. I love it. They should have won, but I love Bailey, so it's okay. And I just want to point out that Maggie, Winston, and Burke were all nominated for Harper Avery. So all the Black cardio chiefs. We love to see it. Black excellence. We really went on a tangent there about Maggie and Winston, but I love both of them and I want them to be happy.
Yes, that was my frustration. I was like, this is outside of character for Winston. He's saying all these horrible mean things.
And it's like, why?
Yeah, because like, it was him who pursued his boss.
Bro,
it does not...
He's also been her biggest cheerleader for her work.
It's like out of nowhere. And now you guys are not even tackling the main issue. It's now, this is what you said. And like, this is what you said. You're so mean. You're a robot. Like, he knew she was a robot. He was her mentor like for years. Like, they were mentor mentees. Like, he was her psychic for years. This is not a news.
Like, and I get why they write storylines like this. You want to stretch something out over multiple arcs, and it's just, I didn't like it.
Yeah.
And I'm happy that they're going to continue to be happy. I'm excited to see Winston be a teacher. It seems like something that he's built for. It's really interesting because Nick and Winston are both like, teachery vibes that they've added. Although I don't know if we're going to see lots of Nick now that him and Meredith are going to be together.
What's going on with Nick? Like, he's just there now in the hospital? Like,
yeah, he's the residence chief.
He moved for a babe and the babe's not there anymore.
Girl, Meredith treated Nick like shit this season. And I cannot believe that, one, he was once again making this speech at the end of the episode. But two, people kept telling him, Meredith is so great.
She's so worth it. I know she's going to put you through the worst trauma of your life, but she's worth it. No, fuck that. I'm so sorry. I know that like she and Derek had like the greatest love. But you heard him say, I love you, and you cut the phone. And like,
Even before that, this is the third time I've moved for you. Because of you, I keep moving from state to state. How can't you see that I am invested in this? Talking about, I said I love you and you said nothing back. You said you loved me after 6 months of us not speaking to each other and you offering me a job. It was weird. This is another time to like, I love you too, Meredith Grey. And so now you're moving.
It's Stockholm syndrome.
No.
Like, it's an abusive relationship. Yes, there I said it. Like,
abuse is a bit much.
It's a little bit, because like, I just don't see why he keeps coming back.
He loves
because
her.
They haven't shown me enough. Like, a few hotel scenes is not enough for me to see you still coming back even after Meredith is giving you nothing. And I know it may be supposed to be like, okay, she's the main character or whatever, so she can do no wrong, and like everybody's so much in love with her. But it's like, at least with Derek, we saw him like leave her for Addison to try and make it work, to be like, okay, at the end of the day, I still human being, I'm gonna try to make it work. But like with this, it's just like I haven't seen like, and even before then, like obviously I know I can't compare it to Derek, but like even before then, we saw a bit of Derek and her falling for each other even before Addison came in. So the fact that he still left her even at that was like, okay, normal things are happening. You know, she can't just get everything she wants in life all the time. And she did this big gesture and everything. So it feels to me like it was very regressive because she has grown past not being able to tell somebody that, you know, I think she had grown past that. So to me, I didn't even understand her problem. They didn't show me like what was her problem.
I don't even mind her being unable to communicate because you know what? It's a complicated situation. It's messy and love is hard.
What's messy there?
Like having to move for your kids versus stay for a guy you just made move for you.
No,
like,
that's at the end. But like even before they got to that level where he had been, like, what was the complication that he had already moved?
I don't honestly. I have no idea.
That's what I'm saying. Like it was just all over the place where I'm like, I know you want to cause conflicts, and because Meredith cannot have any easy love in her life, I guess. But like, what is this?
My issue is less her behavior and more everyone's reaction to it. So since like season 12, basically we've been on the Meredith is God and can do no wrong train, and I hate it so much. And they do it with all of her love interests. So they did it with DeLuca, they did it with Marsh, they did it with Link for the brief moment that he liked her, where it's like Meredith stands you up for a date, who cares, it's Meredith. Like,
yeah,
everyone just worships at her feet.
I know she ghosted you, but look, she did an important surgery while she ghosted you, so I'm so sorry. And then, you know, she kind of fell asleep because she's so tired.
Screaming.
Excuse me, you're an adult.
Like, even like kids. On the plane, like Amelia was like, yeah, Meredith was mean to you, but that's how she's like. Helm said the same thing to her, Richard said the same thing to him. Like, everyone keeps telling Nick, it doesn't matter how bad Meredith treats you, just take it because she's so fantastic. And to me, that's so shitty, because if their genders were swapped, none of us would be like, oh, this is great, yeah.
That's why I said that. You said it was abused.
No, I don't think it's abuse.
If it was flipped, would you think? I wouldn't think a little bit.
I wouldn't think it was abusive. I would just think it was like shitty, and I'd be like, why does Nick have no self-worth?
I don't know.
Or like
I guess it's like how you define it, but like I think it's a little bit of.
Because she doesn't.
Stockholm.
I mean, Stockholm that you imposed on yourself.
Yeah.
Because to be fair, Meredith
like,
is not even really doing anything to deserve this. She didn't ask you to run to her house and declare love.
Excuse me.
No, it's true. She's just there, not giving you anything.
Is she not the one that was sliding letter on that, or who's like?
It was Nick.
Okay, but I'm saying that it's not as if she doesn't give. She does give, and it's like she does this breadcrumbing thing where it's like, I'm giving you eyes where I'm saying things that make you feel like, woe is me, I want you to fight for me, but it's like, I'm the only one always fighting. I don't think Nick is a crazy person who just fell in love with someone who he gave him nothing. Like, or who kept giving him nothing. Because there are multiple times where like he would move, he would like, I've moved on, I'm not even going to, I'm ready. Did you speak to Nick in the hallway? Okay, well, how come I did it? Like, I'm sorry, like, let's not. She did give him a few. She gave
a little crumbs, but overall, my takeaway from this season was Nick, please do better. That being said, I hope we keep him. I like him as the residency director, but now that he's going to be with Meredith, and the actor is the actor, so there's a small chance that next season, like, oh, Nick has moved to Boston to be with Meredith. I hope not. I want to see him. I want to see his dynamic with Lucas continue, but I like Nick. He's very low energy, not low energy, but low effort. He's not like causing a ton of drama.
Yeah.
And I appreciate it. Even when he got mad and yelled at Lucas, I was like, yeah, yell at him some more.
Let's talk about Teddy and Owen this season. Teddy as chief, love it.
I've always been a fan of Teddy, other than the minor moments of cheating with Tom, which I thought was just egregious.
It's a small mistake.
That was
a small mistake.
Other than that, I've been really fine with her behavior. I feel like people are like, oh my god, she's so obsessed with Owen. I'm like, she's been like that since season 6. Like, this is exactly who she is. But I like how badass she is as chief. And I love her and Owen when they're happy because, one, I don't hate Owen and so I'm okay with him being happy. But two, it's like,
they've been through so much.
Also, Teddy is like 50. Like, she's a little bit older than Owen, but like she's fully 50, 51, 52. She's like, if they've settled into what they want and they're happy with, that's okay. Like, so when they were fighting earlier this season, it stressed me out because I'm like, I'm over this, love each other again. But I was okay with it because I actually saw both sides, even though I was slightly more on Owen's side, only because Teddy was the one who said, let's run away. Like, what Owen did was wrong, but then Teddy's immediate reaction was, oh, let's run away. And then she was like, oh God, we ran away and everything was terrible. And it's like, you didn't have to do that. And now you're really, really mad about this.
So it's my fault because I didn't want the father of my children to end up in jail.
Okay, but now that I'm not in jail, you're still angry. You shouldn't have just gone to prison.
I'm human. I'm sorry.
I like them. I like their family unit with their kids. There's something really like comforting about Owen and Teddy to me, and I don't know why. Maybe it's because, you know what? At this point, after the OGs, Owen is the next longest character that's been in the show. He's been here since season. He met all the interns. He met George. He met Izzy. Like, I'm happy to see him at a place of happiness and peace, especially because what Amelia put that man through does not really make sense.
I don't even know how anybody's still friends with Amelia in that hospital.
You know, she was having a tantrum and Owen was like, oh, when Amelia is upset, she's highly rational. She's like, it's so funny that you're joking about the fact that she's like this because she actually derailed your life for 2 years.
Yeah, everybody has just come to the place of acceptance. Like, don't take Amelia seriously. It's really not about you. Once she starts screaming, just keep doing your stuff. Like, just...
She was talking, said, Amelia, we don't have time for this right now. Like, so I like him and Teddy. I like that they got to a place where they've moved past their issues. Because again, it was like Teddy was right to be upset. Bro, you almost went to jail. But it was also like, are you over it or are you not? I'm glad that they apologized and they're just like, we love each other. We want to be together. We're going to be happy. And the moment Owen said in the final episode, I'm always going to be there to take care of you, I'm like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, something bad is happening to Teddy. Because whenever anyone on the show is too happy with their lover, death is around the corner.
Derek was coming too. Derek said, no, fuck the president. That's when I knew it. I knew it.
I'm dead. That being said, I'm 90% sure that Teddy's going to live. Other than the fact that Kim Raver is like an actress that's staying on the show, there's no way they're going to make Owen a widower that has to raise his 2 children by himself. The writers would be sick to do that.
But you know what? I have missed the storyline of somebody getting randomly sick. That was a main character. So I didn't realize how much I missed it till Teddy started showing toothache. I said, it's coming. It's coming. It's coming.
I'm really excited, and I want to see how they deal with that. I mean, both of them have had issues before where the other one had to take care of them. You know, Teddy was catatonic. Owen was taking care of her. Owen was in the car crash. So like they've taken care of each other before. But that moment of panic, I felt so bad for Owen. It was just like, oh, I can't, because he's actually known Teddy for like 20 plus years.
Yeah,
that's crazy. Anyway, I'm excited to see how that turns out. Loving Teddy as chief. Oh God damn it! I just realized since Teddy is sick, someone is going to have to be intern chief at the beginning of next season.
Let's not think about it. Next video.
Amelia, we didn't talk about her specifically. Her storyline this season was mostly her with Kai. Kai broke up with her and she was sad about it. I don't care because...
I don't care.
I don't even understand why she was with Kai since last season.
Oh my god! And she was trying to compare her situation with
Maggie and Winston.
I was like, it's not the same, dear.
So I think it's really funny because I think Kai was totally right. Kai was like, we're in a long distance relationship where we only see each other a few times a month, where your kid is not there. Of course, this is our. And then Amelia was like, what?
Not somebody leaving me again.
Girl, I don't have time for your nonsense.
And then she had the guts to come and Mika and be like, I got you a job. It's like, it's like they just be signing anybody's contract in that Grey's hotel.
In the hotel, you're right. They just be checking in and out. That being said, I think the real reason I wasn't invested is because last season when Kai said, kids are not for me, that's it. The relationship is over, Amelia. You have a child.
Yeah.
So whatever. So I wish they hadn't even put her with Kai in the first place. I think they should have explored Amelia as single because Amelia is always doing something insane with a love interest. And now I feel like they're going to bring someone else who's going to be like, she's like, oh, you're the first person who sees me. You make me calm. Like she said with every single love interest she's had since private practice. And we're supposed to get invested. All I can think is, how soon till this falls apart? But yeah, I want to see more of her interactions with Lucas. I was a bit disappointed with how much interaction she got with Addison. I wanted more. Like, Addison is your sister.
Addison was over her.
Yeah, I liked Addison yelling at her.
Yeah.
Although it made me sad because like, oh my gosh, she was so close to relapsing. Let her relapse. But it's fine. But Amelia was a bit MIA-ish this season. Honestly, every time we see Scouts, I just feel like Link is a father alone. Like there is no mother.
Oh my gosh, we haven't spoken about Joe and Link. Oh my gosh, that was a whole thing.
Yeah.
Like the entire season, I was like, so you people are actually pretending that you don't know that you people both like each other. Okay, because you just see Link going around, hanging around everybody and just, learning everything about their lives and being invested. Was Joe actually kidding herself?
I think she was just trying to protect herself. Even though I don't love how she went about it, I agree with her. Because last season she did tell Link she loved him. Although, what did you think was going to happen? Like, I'm literally mourning the mother of my child and I's relationship falling apart. Like, Joe, that was the worst time to tell him. I'm glad that they're together now. I'm generally more pro Link than pro Joe. Joe does be annoying me, and I like Link, but I want them together. I want them to be happy. Nobody on this show deserves love more than Joe. Like, I'm not even
nobody.
Like, is it the abusive husband that she literally had to change her name and run away from, or is it Alex that walked out one day and never came back? Like, if anyone has been betrayed by love before, it's Joe. So I understand her being hesitant to say I love you again to someone that you said I love you to. You just said I love you the first time at the wrong time, babe.
And like, Link is one of your closest friends. You don't want to mess with that relationship.
But like, honestly, they're messy bitches because we live together, we're raising our kids together.
Excuse me, if I have a child and I'm single, everybody better live with me.
No, because like now, okay, you're saying, oh, you should move out so I can date someone new. And I know she was just trying to cover her feelings, but like, let's say Link had said, okay, so now our kids think they're siblings, but we're separating them so you can date other people. Like, it's messy. I'm glad they're together. Yeah. I like their friends to lovers because neither of them saw this coming, but it's also very believable. I think Link has so much love to give, and I think Joe deserves someone who's just gonna put her first. Because even when she was with Alex was low-key putting Meredith first. So I want that. I want Joe to receive everything. Link was like buying flowers so he could make like a grand gesture. He's learning sign language. He sees Luna as his own kid. I'm like, that's all that she deserves. So I'm very happy now that they're together. My assumption is things are going to be okay. Writers, I don't need mess. I don't want any Amelia's going to be like, I don't know if I want Scouts calling you mom too. Let's be moving peacefully. I think good things are coming because the way they introduced the interns this year, I have loved it. Breath of fresh air to the show that was necessary.
There was a big change this season where it's like, okay, now we're kind of back on track. Like, now this is a show I recognize. Like, if you watch any of our previous videos, you know that I've complained about just like the show going off the rails, and it's hard to kind of take over a show that was already in, like if that period of just them not really having a stable like showrunner, everybody just has ideas and there's so many characters involved, so like it's really complicated. So I think Krista did a great job, and I'm hoping for good things from Meg. This season was great for me. Like, it's too hard because I'm just like, who are these people? Like, I'm so sorry. Like, even when they introduced like Joe's class, I was also like, who are these people? So it really takes, and the only thing that made me like accept them, for lack of a better word, was the fact that they really integrated them with the original cast, which was like who was still around. But now it's like, okay, Teddy and Owen, okay, like, But I found myself like over the period of like the season actually caring about these characters, and like they decided to really show us a lot more about their lives, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm warming up to them. And towards the end of the season, I was really excited to see like where it went. Like it was like, yeah, this is giving me like OG Grey's vibes, like early seasons. Like, please continue.
I'm dead. I love so many of the actors who were playing the intern. So I keep calling Kwan Mike Chang because that's Mike Chang. That's my Glee dancer who said he was going to be a doctor and a dancer. So he has achieved his dreams. Benson Blue Kwan. I love him, actually. I really, really like him. I like his attitude. I tend to like the doctors who seem to understand that they're here to practice medicine and they're focused on being the best.
He's given me mini Alex vibes sometimes, and other times he's given who else?
Is it Christina?
Yeah. But I like it. I really like his storyline this season, and I like his relationship with Jules.
I also think that they've done a pretty good job of rounding out the characters in general, but I think Blue stands out to me, or Kwan stands out to me, because like, yeah, we know that his mom died, and he had her medical debts and he was working that, but we know like he went to school in the Barbados, he can speak Spanish, he's really empathetic. Like, we know a lot about him, and I appreciate that because he's not been linked to other characters. So like, we have Lucas, who's literally related to all the shepherds. We have Griffith, who like, she's the mini Meredith. They even had her have that connection there. Yasuda has had a little thing with Teddy a little bit where it looks like she's gonna grow there, which is exciting. And also like with Helm, Jules and Blue to me are the most independent of the original cast at this time. And I love that. I feel like I know so much about him, and I'm excited to see how it goes. I'm mad about his relationship with Jules only because they've had him like, they're falling for each other. I like the whole, we're casually having sex, and I knew it was going to turn into love, but okay, sure.
I mean, you know the show you're watching, though.
You're right.
You know the show you're watching.
You're right. It's my fault.
Yeah. I really like on and off stuff, depending on if it's done well, and I like when someone kind of paints a picture about someone and realizes that, like the period where people started realizing, Alex is actually not bad. I love that, and I'm like, okay, give me more. Like, let me peel through layers of this person that just feels like, I'm just here for like vibes. But the point is that everybody's a surgeon here because they care and like blah blah blah. So I like to get that like storyline, and I really enjoyed Jules' story with her roommates this season, and just her grappling with the fact that like,
you might die, babes.
Yeah, I like that.
I like that. And although we haven't seen a lot of it, I hope we will see. I want to meet Jules' parents. I'm just, every time she talks about them, like, I don't want to carry the blood. Isn't that what you do at weddings? Baby, is everything okay? She was talking about how she was like the one that helped deliver her siblings. Like, her parents sound so kooky. Like, literally no Grey's parents are this absurd. Like, Izzy's mom was a bit off kilter, but Jules' parents sound like if they ever came to the hospital to visit Jules, it could be a whole episode in itself. So I want to see that. I don't love, I said I want something casual, but actually I have feelings, and now I'm upset that you're sleeping with someone else energy. So I'm glad that they're wrapping that up soon because I'm over it. Yasuda is the dark horse for me. I didn't expect to like her as much as I had.
Really?
Yeah.
I liked her from the first scene. I'm so sorry.
I'm screaming.
Like, she's a great actress. So
yes.
There's that plus. And I had seen her from Sex Lives of College Girls already, and I really liked her character, so I knew that she was going to bring something to it. And I was like, you live in the trailer, Alex. I just knew that her story would be interesting. And she just gave me, I have that passion, I have that drive, and I was like, Christina plus Alex, I love it.
Not that being the things that make you like a character. You're like, Blue, Christina plus Alex.
I'm sorry, I just have to relate it to obviously they are different people, right? They have different stories. But sometimes, like, you can't deny that in the first episode when they introduced them, they were trying to do the whole, who could this be? Is this the George? You can't deny that.
I personally did not feel like they did that, except for Simone. Simone was obviously Meredith because she's the main character of the class. But other than that, I didn't even see that because I think they did a lot of everyone is like everyone. Because Simone was the main character, but they also had, Jules was an intern that slept with an attending, which is also Meredith. I feel like they gave all of them all traits from Magic to be like, they're new. But I didn't see any, like, other than Simone being Meredith, because main character of her class, I didn't see any, like, okay, you are one-to-one this person.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. That's why I keep saying this is this plus this plus this. Like, I feel like I like the fact that I can see different people in them. I guess. And I knew that it was intentional when they did that, where it was like, okay, we're just adding all these traits and like
screaming.
need to figure it out.
I feel that. I'm very here. Look, Yasuda standing up to the attendings and her patients in the final episode live. Her telling this patient, you flirting or being friendly, I am your doctor. That's not the case. Her kind of speaking up towards the attendings like, yeah, I have stuff to do. I live for it. I love it. I also appreciated to a degree them showing us her financial struggles, although I was like, yeah, I can only sympathize with you to a degree because yeah, you need to pay these bills, but you cannot be falling asleep during surgery. I am so sorry. Like, people's lives are actually in your hands. I'm glad that, like, you know, Teddy and Amelia and all of them, they figured out a way to improve this system. But I was also like, you are choosing to work a 3 a.m. shift knowing you have to work on patients tomorrow. Like, I don't love that. So I'm glad
she's
that
choosing to, like, you don't, it's not like a mandatory thing.
Oh, when she was like doing the shifts at Jill.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like.
Oh no! You have no choices as an intern, as a resident. You're doing whatever you're doing there.
Yeah, and let's just ignore the fact that like Amelia was just bullying people this season.
Oh no, we're gonna get to Amelia. Y'all know how I feel about your babe.
But I really enjoyed that storyline, and I enjoyed like the fact that the higher ups had to sit down and be like, okay, I know we are so used to this being how things were and we wear it as a badge of honor, but like we actually, that's trauma, like, and everyone decided to share like, yeah, remember that time when we had to do this, we had to do that. I know it can be painful when like you see the younger generation having things so easy and like, oh, you're complaining about having to work. No, like, trust me, I know. But I like the fact that they were like, yeah, this should not be normal just because we went through it. So like, how do we help this person? And I like that they did that.
I agree. Something else that I liked about Yasuda, I really like her and Helm for 2 reasons. One, I quite like Helm. Helm has not been promoted to a regular cast member, which is so interesting because she's been on the show basically as long as Schmidt has, and Schmidt is a regular. So I'm hoping that if her relationship with Yasuda does well, she'll be promoted to regular. I want to see more of her. She's had little moments where I'm like, you can be such a compelling character. Like, you seem smart and like focused. Also, the fact that they're dating means that, hallelujah, at last, Helm is free from the shackles of her love of Meredith Grey, because I'm over it.
Yeah, what was that?
Why are you so obsessed with this woman that would never give you a second? And I know it's like comedic relief, like Kadri was in love with Jackson as well, but I'm just like, it's weird. Like, you're being really aggressive towards Addison because of Meredith. You're being really aggressive towards Nick because of, like, it's okay. So maybe now that she has an actual girlfriend, we won't have to deal with that anymore. So for those 2 reasons, no, don't do that.
I mean, would that part of her just disappear? Like, now she just has someone else to obsess over. Like, she screamed at Teddy.
Oh, yeah.
But, you know, it was productive.
Exactly. I'm okay with her being obsessed about her own girlfriend. Like, maybe she'll learn to manage her behavior. It's just weird when it's her
there
boss.
Will be a line, you know, just
I think she'll learn how to have a line, because there were multiple times with Meredith where it's just like, baby, what is going on right now? So yeah, I need that to be over. So I'm really, really rooting for Yasuda and Helm. I think they have potential to be cute. I also like that, like, they're both residents. There's not a weird power imbalance. Like, yeah, she's the chief resident, but who cares? Like, who cares? I don't care. Do you care? Do you care?
I kind of do, but it's also like, I know the show I'm watching. Like, I know, like, like, bro, everyone was like Lexi and Mark, like Meredith, and like everybody was doing it. So why can't they? And just, like you said, the gap is not as wide.
Like it's like, what, 3-4 years? I'm okay with that. Next up on the list of characters we're going to discuss, I want to say Simone before Lucas. So Simone, I want to like her so bad, and there are things about her that I quite enjoy, and I think her storyline can be so strong. I don't like Lucas, so their pairing does not work for me, because I'm just like, what do you see in this child? But it's fine. I think I like that she's like the best in her class, and unlike the others,
is she?
Yeah. She's the best in their class, and she has the most experience, and that's why she was picked. Like,
did I miss that?
Yes, babe. They talk about it a few different times.
Okay.
Like, that's why she does the more like advanced procedures, like even like with the patient Sam that's dying. Obviously, spoiler alert, by the way, where Lucas is like, you can do this. She was in her program, she was in her residency program, and she was doing well. The reason that she left was because, you know, there was microaggressions and racism, and she flipped out and destroyed a bunch of things, and she was removed from her program. Again, racism is bullshit. Misogyny is the worst, and my babe deserves better. But the others, like Lucas didn't get into any better programs. Jules failed a course because she was in love with someone, so she didn't.
I mean, Lucas has ADHD.
Okay, but were you performing to the standard that everybody else was? Okay. Who have I not mentioned? Blue went to school in another country, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but I think that plus like the debt just been bearing. But he's smart and capable, so I think he's right behind Simone. And then we haven't found out Yasuda's reason yet. But I know she has a lot of debt, but they haven't explained why she's in this program particularly. But Simone is the one who, like, she didn't do badly. So they talked about how, like, yeah, she's the most advanced in their program and everything. So I like that she's great. And I think there's so much potential for her storyline because, like, yeah, she has a bad relationship with her sister because her sister kind of blames her because their mom died in childbirth, and, like, you know, her mom having Alzheimer's. And I know that Meredith is gone, and maybe when she comes back they'll have some scenes, but I'm looking forward to a potential relationship there. Also, I really wish Maggie wasn't leaving because I thought it was kind of badass the couple of times that they interacted and had cases together. But on her own, I'm excited for Simone. Side note, I know we're a few seasons away from this. I'm really excited to see what their chief residence race is going to look like when they're all trying to decide. But I like Simone. I just don't like her with Lucas.
So, okay, I have a big problem with Simone, and I'm so sorry if I upset everyone, but her acting, I just don't know if it's intentional, if that's, like, supposed to be her vibe, but a lot of the times, like, even when she has these, like, really strong storylines, I'm not buying it. It's like, I'm not buying that you're conflicted. I'm not buying that this thing is happening to you. I'm not buying that this is your wedding day. I'm not buying that you are having, like, jitters. Like, I'm not buying it. And I don't, it's probably a me thing, but, like, her expressions are, like, two. And, like, her storyline has, like, her storyline would, like, basically force her to, like, express so many different emotions, and I'm not buying it. And I think it's even more annoying when you already have an annoying storyline, e.g. like Lucas, and the acting is not really there for me. And I don't know if that's, like, she's supposed to be, like, in this, like, robotic, mechanical, like, you know how Christina was, like, maybe that's her thing, but, like, I'm still not buying it. I'm so sorry.
I'm dead.
And that's, like, I think that's where I struggle, because, like, I really want to feel all the feelings, and I like everything that Mena said, like, the storyline. It's really hard for me to connect with her, and I don't know why. I've really, really tried. Like, even the scene of, like, you know, Lucas appearing after the wedding, and, like, they were kind of running to hug each other. I was like, this is supposed to be like if I was, like, let's even ignore the fact that I didn't like the pairing. If I liked it, this was supposed to be there. Oh my God, you didn't get married moment. I was like, oh, like, you know, and I was just like, okay. Yeah.
That's fair. Let's dive into Lucas. And as we enter Lucas, I want to talk about Limon, which is Lucas and Simone. I don't like it. I'm sorry. I don't know why they're so infatuated with each other. I think leaving your husband or your husband to be on your wedding day is atrocious behavior. And I'm really glad that Trey punched, like, Lucas in the face. Like, why are you even in my medical room right here? Like, I brought my whole family here. We rushed the wedding because your grandma has Alzheimer's. Like, I revolved my whole life to marry you. And just like, oops, no.
And there's this thing that makes me feel very uncomfortable, because, like, when they introduced her fiance, they made sure to show us all these things where it's like, okay, these are little red flags. Like, why is he saying all these things about, like, your classmates, and, like, why is he acting like this? So there was now this whole turnaround of, yeah, you know, he still loves me and I'm gonna marry him. So it's like, the fact that I'm now supposed to be, like, is Lucas supposed to be like, oh, Lucas understands more than, like, you know, like, you have more history with this person, and, like, they didn't do well to show me.
They never do well. Whenever they introduce these alternative options, Julia, Rose, the vet, like, they're just.
It's not even that. Like, even for example, like with April and Matthew, like, I saw more of Matthew. So, like, when April was to marry Matthew and, like, Jackson was like, I saw more of it. So it's just like, he was just on the phone like, oh, wedding planning, and, like, I didn't see much of his personality. So when you were there acting conflicted, I was just like, I don't know, because they've shown me a lot of your scenes with Lucas. I don't know how this is enough for you to want to not, like, marry this person you've known for years. And I don't know if that little stint they showed us at the beginning was like, okay, you should know that this guy is not that great.
Yes, basically. They want to choreograph to you that he's the worst option.
Okay, so
They didn't want to even bother having you get invested in him. And I guess that works for some people. But for me, I watch a lot of things with the lens of reality. And I'm just like, I'm so sorry. You were together for years. You know his parents. He knows yours. And like, I'm sorry he wasn't supportive in your last residency. And I'm sure that felt like a betrayal. But he's also a man of color. So I'm assuming part of his behavior was, I also dealt with these microaggressions and I ignored them. And that doesn't make it okay.
Yeah.
But he wasn't coming from a place of, oh, that's easy. It's more of, oh, we'll suck it up and one day we'll be attendings and it'll be okay. It doesn't make it okay. But the idea that I'm supposed to watch that and be like, oh, you're such a villain, bruh. Because obviously she sucked it up as well until she broke, and you shouldn't have to suck it up, and it's the worst. But everybody knows that the system is bad, and it's very easy for people who are still in it to be like, let's just make it to the end.
I understand that part, but I also don't understand looking down on people and thinking that they are less than in terms of like, oh, so these are the people.
I think it's, but even they that they're in the program said the same thing. It's like we're in the program of misfits and failures.
Okay, but does that mean that, I mean, I feel like it says something about your character.
It does.
It wasn't enough for me to, because all Lucas does is to say, oh my God, when I look at you, and I'm like, and I think that's it with me. I maybe if she had more storylines, maybe just about her, that's fine, but maybe because it's just no chemistry with her and Lucas, I don't see it.
I don't see it.
So to me, it's like, I don't know what it's like. I don't know. I'm not seeing this thing that is so important that you are like, you are going to wait till your wedding day to make a decision.
Yeah. I hate it so much. I'm like, I know they did, these are all the signs. I'm so sorry, Simone, you're a smart babe. Like, are you really, it's whatever. I understand having mommy issues and wanting to make your dead mom proud that you never met, but it was just all very irritating. And like I said, to me, Trey was the victim there. All you have to do is say, no, I won't marry you again, instead of like, get his hopes up. Especially because like one of the things he said when he came back was like, oh, I found a way to get you back into the program. And I get it. She didn't want to go back. But to him, it was like, you have literally gone back to intern year where I can put you back where you were in your residency.
Exactly.
It's complicated, and I'm not saying he's perfect, but I'm so sorry. Lucas that is late every day. Like before they knew he had ADHD, like what about this man is so attractive to you? Because he gives a man-child who doesn't have his shit together.
Exactly. And like,
that's what you want for your life?
Oh my God, guys, I'm so sorry, but like, just like, don't take what I'm saying seriously. I'm so sorry, but like, I know people go through trauma and all, but like, it took a dead bird, like, or something, like,
it just, I mean, my issue is that she waited till the day, because once you get to the day, I get it. So like if we're already on the day of, it is so much harder to say we don't want to do it anymore. Like the day is here, the guests have arrived. Like you should, once you get to the day, honestly, if I didn't want to get married to someone, I would absolutely say before the day, because on the day we're getting married. We're getting married. That's what's gonna have to happen, because how can I start explaining to everybody that it's not happening today? Even if I'm calling you that tomorrow is not happening, but you've worn your fine dress, you took time off work and you're here, we're getting married. And we're just gonna have an unhappy marriage. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was very much a weird feeling. Like you had already started even walking down the aisle. So if you never even showed up, that would have been
exactly.
She stopped. There were 3 more steps to the thing. No. But think about it. Why? Think about it. Like if she never came out, that would be fine. Like remember when, was it April or like who bolted?
It was April. Like this is the 3rd wedding that has started and then stopped. So
it just pissed me off so bad. Like
it's definitely my okay, I lied. It's my 2nd favorite. So the one that I love the most is Christina and Burke, because I loved them. But Burke was ready to marry her, and him realizing that she didn't want this and doing it for her, great. I can accept Simone and Lucas. You know what? I'm gonna give Lucas props because he did not show up to the wedding. He just said, if you're getting married, you're getting married. So it's Simone I'm judging here. All of the side eye. The worst one is obviously to me, Jackson and April. They are at the altar. They didn't even say, Jackson stood up twice to say I love you, and then she ran out with a smile on her face.
That he actually apologized. No, but you were like, I'm so like, no, but like, do it for, like, don't.
So with that in mind, I will say that it could have been worse. And it wasn't great, but it's fine. It's fine. It's over. Trey can go and live his life and mourn this. But anyway, Lucas, I don't like Lucas. I'm so sorry. I don't like him. I think he's annoying. I think he's a Nepo baby who thinks he's not a Nepo baby. And the whole, I've been the black sheep my whole life. It doesn't matter if it's still getting you the things that you want. And I was really glad when Yasuda called him out, because like there are things he's done that would have gotten him fired if he wasn't related to the people in charge. And also the whole, woe is me. It doesn't do anything for me. Also, I'm so sorry. I don't think he can act. I just, please take acting lessons over the summer. I'm not trying to be mean.
So you think Simone can act better than him?
Yes, I think Simone is a better actress than Lucas. Yes.
Really?
Yes. Lucas is not giving anything to me here.
That's crazy.
I mean, it's all subjective, right? Maybe he is a good actor and I'm just a hater. No, I don't think he's a good actor. I think he's way too monotone all the time. So even when he's supposed to be like having modulations in his voice, louder and quieter. It's all the same volume. That annoys me. Facial expression.
Simone too is the same volume.
At least I've heard her yell. Also, his face expressions. I don't like Lucas. And you know what? It's maybe something will change. Maybe now that he has an ADHD diagnosis and he gets his self together and, it's just better, I'll like him more, but I don't think I will, because one of the first things he did after his diagnosis was that patient that he convinced to come back by drawing. And I know what we're supposed to feel is, oh wow, Lucas is connected to this patient. It's so impressive. I didn't care.
Really?
I was just like, meh. I don't know. I don't like Lucas, and he hasn't done anything wrong. So I'm hoping that the next season improves my feelings towards him. But I'm just like,
I like that storyline. I liked it.
Like, it was okay. I didn't hate it. I thought it was sad that he died. I felt bad for Lucas and Teddy because they worked so hard. But while he was connecting with the patient, I wasn't feeling, oh my gosh, wow, look at what Lucas. I'm just like,
yeah. That's my thing. I think that's even when Simone had her thing with the black woman who had like cancer and everything. I also didn't feel that. I was just like, okay, I understand what they're trying to tell me here. Both of you are black, and like, you want to make her feel comfortable. I didn't feel that. I also didn't feel the connection with Lucas, and it's like, okay, I understand the entire storyline, but I don't feel connection. But with Jules, I felt it.
You didn't feel Simone's connection with the big football player that Link worked on? Because I felt that.
I felt it more because of the football players acted and like, no, but the football players like story with his mom and everything. To me, it was just like, okay, they're telling me that they are connecting, and so I'm gonna believe it instead of like, I see that, because even when Kwan is like, I see it, and I think that's like disconnect for me. And maybe as they settle more into the role, they would obviously get better at showing these like ranges of emotions and all that. But like, as of right now, you're right. Like with like, it's just like, oh, this is a nice patient storyline, and they picked somebody to relate it to, and so that's fine.
Like, Lucas just doesn't do it for me. Like, so even the children's book author that died, like, Lucas was like wrecked and everything, and I was just like, meh. But I felt more for Meredith, who had a minor sentence about when I was a kid, Ellis used to take me to book readings, and I felt that more. I even felt it with Simone. I guess, you know what? I'm sure you're a great actor, and I'm just being a hater, and next season I'll feel more. I'm just not feeling it right now. But like, do you like Lucas? Like, I like his connection with Nick, so I quite like Nick, and I like them like bonding, and Nick kind of having a protege, and him realizing he has ADHD. That's nice. Like, people figure out that they have that as adults, and like, you can go your whole life not knowing, and Nick just kind of being like, bro, oh, I have eyes, you have ADHD. Like,
yeah, I think that really helped Lucas's story, like 100%. Like, if I didn't know that about him, I'll just be like, why are you actually like this? Why are you actually like this? I'm like, yes, having ADHD also means like you can't keep track of stuff. Like, it's hard for you to follow routines or like show up on time or remember things. But it can also kind of make you annoy everybody else around because of that. Because like, people are just like, why are you even doing the things that you're doing? So hopefully that explanation will make like his storyline change. Like, they can't be making him do that stuff anymore. So maybe when all of that all of those annoying traits like disappear, maybe there will be like stronger storylines with like Lucas. But yeah, in terms of like, they are very like baby new actors, I guess.
Really?
So I would, I think no. Apart from Yasuda, I've seen her in a lot of stuff. Kwan, but like,
Jules. Honestly, all of them. I think Simone is probably the youngest actress in terms of career.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, then I can excuse her own.
Oh, I'm screaming.
No, because I actually looked it up. It bothered me so much. I think this is her first big project. So like, I get it. Like, that maybe she will improve. But like, if you're telling me that Lucas has been acting, then
so he was even in a movie with glasses where they're gay lovers.
Has he been in like?
He's been in a couple of things, but this is probably the biggest thing he's been because it's Grey's.
Okay.
But he's never like had a show like the other two have had shows where they're the main characters. He's never had that.
But like, I just felt connected more to like Jules and Kwan and like Yasuda. Like, whenever Simone and Lucas would come on screen, I'll be like, not you, not again. Lucas, not you.
I also think Lucas and Simone unfortunately have the biggest load to lift. Simone is the Meredith of her class. She's the main character of her class, and she has a lot to fulfill there. And Lucas is literally related to Derek, Meredith, Amelia. So there's expectations there in terms of not necessarily performance, but being an anchor. Like, there's like, if his mom ever shows up, that's a big deal because that means Amelia is going to have drama. Like, there's a lot that his story has source to provide. And I think that's part of it. The other three don't have those expectations. Like, you're just new interns. Whatever you do is whatever you do. But these two, like, have a big role to fill, and I think that might be part of why I'm so critical. Like literally, Lucas is the first person to say it's a beautiful day to save lives since Derek died in season 11. Like you have a lot to do for me, and you're not giving it.
I just don't know why I truly believe that if Jules got Simone's storyline, I would feel it more, or if like maybe Kwan got Lucas's.
No, I believe that. Yeah,
I just feel like I would believe. Even her own duties as whatever was stronger to me. Like, even I get like, I don't want to judge them based on like the fact that, you know, like we're talking about the storyline here, but it is important in like connecting with what's going on. So that for me, there was a disconnect. But I would say that again, as people grow into the show, like it will be better, because I did have certain feelings even about the OG people. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, they got better. So whatever.
I will say, I love the dynamic that they're trying to build here. I love Lucas and Yasuda because they're clearly going to be best friends, and the little moments they have give me life. I'm here for that boy-girl friendship that's gonna come from that. I love the roommates. Like it's kind of ruined by the fact that Simone and Lucas are obviously in love, but I like the whole we're roommates dynamic. We have to figure out how we live together. I like when the five of them all do things together or hang out together or like talk and plan things, or like when they support each other because someone is sad, let's go look at babies, or let's go to the gift store. Like I like that they're building up an actual like friendship between them. It's kind of ruined because 4 out of 5 of them are into dating already, but friendship is a strong part of what made this show so successful. And we talk about magic all the time, but it was like we're going through this bond together. So I'm hoping that that's something we can maintain, because in the original class, other than Meredith and George's like failed one night stand, Izzy's the only one that like hooked up with multiple people in the group. Yeah. But like Meredith and Christina were dating out of the group, and like eventually George stopped being a viable option, so it was just Alex and Izzy. And I think that made their friendship feel very real. But with these, they're going to be endgame, so I hope they find a way to make it feel good. But like they've done such a good job integrating them, bring them in. I'm very excited to see how they grow and how they interact with the older cast members.
Well, that was a lot. We feel very strongly, but that was our thoughts about season 19. Let us know your thoughts in the comment. I know I was a little bit harsh. Just ignore it. Don't come for me. This is just my personal opinion. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.
Bye.